Welcome clowns! Today I will make a new arena tier list including the 3 new civilizations that are recently added into the game with the new DLC. But before we will get to actually making the tier list, I will show you the new civilizations and we will talk a bit about them, and I will give you explanation why I'm going to see them as low or as high as I will in this tier list. So first of the new civilizations, the Bengalis. It's an elephant and naval civilization. They have a very good eco bonus because town centers spawn 2 villages when the next age is reached. That means you have +2 villages when you reach feudal age, another +2 when you reach castle age, and another +6, +8 villages when you reach imp, obviously depending on how many TCs you have at that point. So I would say very good bonus for arena. Then we have there also another bonus. Elephant units receive 25% less bonus damage and are more resistant to conversions. That is very decent, but it's focused on elephants, right? And how often do you see elephants really in play in 1v1? It's not too common. So it's a big bonus for not as efficient unit. Let's put it this way. At the same time, with Bengalis, you kind of want to get into elephants because of this bonus as well. So yeah, for them it's a legit bonus. Just saying that you cannot overestimate this bonus just because elephants are simply not as viable unit as some other. And then they are also having regenerating ships. That's not too important for us. They have unique unit Ratas, which can switch between cavalry, archer, and cavalry, and it's kind of like better CAs / cavalier unit, I would say. It's still countered by skirmishes. Even when you switch it to cavalry, they still have the bonus versus them. So obviously pikemen, also these oral halbs are decent against them. Same goes for camels. So it's a unit that has its counters for sure, but at the same time it's quite a good unit. It doesn't cost any food, so you can use your food for, let's say, light calves or for ideally for battle elephants, and together it can be very strong composition. I would say it's kind of worse Mangudai, as I would put it. Obviously you can switch once again to cavalry, but it's not as important. I think 90% of the times you will use them as kind of the CA there. And they also have Pegs, which is a unique technology. It's actually very cheap. It's a castle age technology, and it makes your Ratas and elephant units attack 20% faster, so another big bonus for elephants. And also they have quite a unique technology in imp that will just take 10% less population space. With this civilization you kind of want to be at 140-150 villagers because you are going for quite expensive units most of the time, and therefore this can save you quite a lot of population space. It's not a cheap upgrade though, so if you are 200 pop, definitely go for it. If you have those resources, it can give you like 50 more population which you can use, which is huge, but at the same time it's quite expensive and it's not as huge actually. And then we have there another team bonus which is not relevant for us. So this civilization does have Arbalest. Keep in mind that they don't have Tampering. So it's still very good opening in imp, and they should be very fast civilization because of this bonus once again. But not having Tampering means that their Arbalest are not as strong, obviously. You can go for skirmishes. You have the elite elephant archers, but ignore elephant archers. Basically the unit is for now is a complete trash, and I won't be talking about elephant archers with any of those civilizations because the unit is really not relevant, at least for now. You have halbs, you have champs, you don't have supplies though, and you are also looking the last meal armor for infantry, so going for infantry units not as legit there. You can go for elephants. You have light cast with all the upgrades, so definitely good addition for you even when you don't have hussars. Siege, not as strong. You have siege elephants though, which is a very legit unit and definitely better addition than siege rams, so don't underestimate this. But at the same time, not having bombard cannons is simply huge on arena. And we can just move to Ratas here, which once again legit unit, costs only wood and gold, so we are saving your food there. But in the late game I can see them very strong, especially if you have some addition, as I said, like light gifts in front. So together with the eco bonus, decent tech tree but not amazing. I'm not gonna put them as high, but I see them as a definitely legit choice. Then we have there another new civilization which is called Trapedians. which is infantry and naval civilization. And this civilization I really don't see too high. They basically have one good bonus, which is receiving 200 wood when advancing to the next stage. Yes, that's very good, but that's kind of the only thing. Skirmishers attacking faster is good, but skirmishers isn't really the go-to unit really that you want to play in the long term. Then you have their bark technologies costing minus 50%. Okay, that's good. Again, do you want to play champions? Do you want to play halps as your main unit? No, not really. So those are not bad bonuses, but you're kind of lacking like the go-to unit. And their unique unit, which is Urumi Swordsman, is a decent unit when you are facing, let's say, champs. So against like infantry, it's a very, very good unit, but it's kind of a glass cannon unit. It has good attack, but also when we move to this unit, by the way, you have horrible stable, as you can see, and you don't have the best siege workshop either. You don't have siege engineers for your siege onagers, so once again lacking bombard cannon. So basically you have siege elephants, and that's kind of it in the siege workshop. And when we once again move to the unique unit, it's a bit more expensive than champion, and you only have 65 HP and you have 0 pierce armor. Yes, you can plus 4 through blacksmith upgrades, but still only 65 HP and only 4 pierce armor is simply not enough. And when we will be facing any archers, the unit will die extremely fast. So it's good unit, but very, very situational, and simply not saving Trapedians as a civilization. In my opinion, I think the civilization is really poor, at least when it comes to arena. Then we have there another new civilization, which is called Gurcharas, and it's kind of the opposite of Trapedians. First of all, you have their very decent eco bonus. You can garrison your sheep into mills, which is giving you basically infinite food. It's not too fast source of food, but it's basically infinite. And let's say by minute 15, if you put your 8 sheep in the mill, let's say minute 1, then by minute 16 you are getting like 480 food already from the rows, which is very decent since you only have them in the mill. Don't need to take them, you can focus on other things. With the villagers, you also start with 2 forage bushes to kind of give you something else instead of the sheep. So very, very decent eco bonus, and I would say very, very good one also for arena. Yeah, mounted units deal 50% extra bonus damage. Decent for camels, but it's not the strongest bonus in the game, because once again, how often are we playing really camels on arena? But if you play camels, then it's definitely a legit option, and obviously it makes more sense to play camels there with Gurcharas. And then you have Chakram Thrower as an infantry. I would say one of the best unique units in the game right now. So good versus, let's say, skirmishers, versus any infantry kind of, and yeah, it's, I would say, better version of Geppetto or better version of Axeman. I would say even quite better version of those units. So Chakram Thrower, very, very legit unit. Also you have their unique unit, which is Shrivamshra Rider. That's kind of Hussar that costs gold, and it's a bit better Hussar when it comes to range units. So if you are facing range units, it is better to go for Shrivamshra Rider. In the long term, potentially Hussar is the better option because it doesn't cost any gold. But I would say both units are a very legit choice there when you are playing Gurcharas. As you can see, more attack for Shrivamshra Rider, so definitely decent choice there. And also we have their Camel Scout, so we are not starting with the Scout Cavalry, but we are starting with the Camel Scout, and that will simply turn into Camel when you reach Castle Age, and that's such a huge bonus, because before opponent can make their any monks or anything, you will already have their 1 camel in the middle, which is already doing 50% more bonus damage, and that camel can be simply so annoying for opponent. So if you are playing classic light cav opening and you have their 1 camel in the middle, it might be the best save in the game right now for the scout opening, and that's simply very common on normal arena. So yeah, like for this, one of the best light cavs plays together with the eco bonus. You are not having the best options there. You will likely open, let's say, with skirmishes. You can follow with hand cannons. Infantry is a complete trash there, so never go for it. But then you will likely switch into hussars. Then you will likely add your unique unit, and the civilization is very strong. Also, it has bombard cannons. Once again, it has siege elephants. So yeah, this civilization was very, very good and simply has amazing option. I would say the best option that you want to go for in the late game. get two Charakram throwers and then play like Hussars or Shriram Rider in front, and you shouldn't be real struggling, I would say, versus most scenarios and most civilization. So that is Gurcharas. And then there's also Hindustanis, the old Indians, but the civilization is quite redesigned. You have there the same bonus that you had in the past. Camel Riders now attacking faster. In the past they have more armor. So I would say not the best unit, not the best bonus. I would say camels were a bit stronger before, but either way, if you will be now facing, let's say, Paladins, then obviously camels will do a better job than they did in the past. So that is about camels. Then you also have their gunpowder units doing +1, having +1 pierce and +1 meal armor, which is very decent. Also with Shatane, hand cannons have +2 range, so you will have a unit with 9 range, +1 armor compared to what you had before. And also, like, let's say half a year ago or 1 year ago, hand cannons got buffed, so really don't underestimate this unit. And with Indians, it's Hindustanis, it's kind of the unit that you want to go for. In the past, Indians were more of a civilization that you wanted to play with, like skirmishes, hussars, and heavy CA, and now you simply want to play them with more like hand cannons and let's say hussars once again. You still have their imp camels, and one more good thing that they changed about Hindustanis is that you have new unique unit. In the past, Elephant Archer wasn't a bad unit, don't get me wrong, but it was like very late game unit that you simply go for. Skirmishes, hussars, bombard cannons, halps maybe, and then when you had resources, when you had 4 castles, you started to mix in Elephant Archers, which were really strong there in this position. But now instead you have Ghulam, which is, I would say, better Huskarl, and that tells a lot. So Ghulam having really good pierce armor, as you can see, +6, 75 HP as well. It's very cheap food wise, so switching into this unit definitely a legit option, and it can really surprise opponent who's going for archers. It can win you the game kind of instantly, and it's not really a long-term unit because it costs 45 gold. It's not as strong versus other units than archers, but it should be really good, and it's such a good addition for Hindustanis. So once again, not really what you want to play in the very long term, I would say, except that when you are facing some specific civilizations which are going for archers almost exclusively. But really good opening, I would say, and then you likely will switch into hand cannons, into hussars, into bombard cannons. You also have siege elephants, which in the past Indians didn't have siege rams. Now they have siege elephant. It's another big boost for them. So yeah, I think that this unit or this civilization got way stronger. They also have now played barding, so you have better hussars, but you need to research that upgrade. So it's likely small nerf to them, but nothing too major, and I think Hindustanis are now very powerful civilization when it comes to arena. Okay, well, that was longer overview than I wanted, but let's go for the actual tier list. So we are starting with Aztecs here, and I'm going to put Aztecs in, I think I'm putting them in A tier. By the way, I simply split their A tier because I had their 14 civilizations when I made it like as a preview for myself. And therefore I decided that they will be like A+ and A-, just to not have them all the civilizations at the same level. But basically both this is like the A tier, so it's just to give you a comparison to all the people who are going only for 5 tiers. I didn't want to make their 6th tier because that wouldn't be too good. Yeah, then we have their Bengalis, which for me is A- civilization. Already explained why I see them this way. By the way, why I see Aztecs A+. Not too good civilization when it goes to late game, but simply a very strong push. Have some options in Castle Age, so really don't underestimate how strong the Aztec push can be, especially in Castle Age, early Imp, and obviously amazing monks. So Aztecs cannot be lower than A tier, but if you are playing the standard with 3 TC boom, then be prepared that you won't have the best units when it comes to late game at least. And then we have their Berbers, which I'm putting into C tier. They have bombard cannons, they have chemistry, they have, I think, even hand cannons, they have champs. So they do have some units that you don't usually see, but most of the time you still want to play camel archers, hussars. If you get to this composition, it's a very strong civilization. Before you get there, you will likely struggle, especially versus like archer openings versus arbalest opening and such. So Berbers also they don't have the best eco bonus, so this is the reason why I only see them as C tier here. Bohemians, they got nerfed recently, but it's still S tier civilization for me. They still have Hofnitsa, which got slightly nerfed. The monks are definitely nerfed with the more expensive monasteries now, but it's still really strong civilization. You can still go for monk rush, still have maybe the best monk rush in the game, and yeah, also helps Hofnitsa, amazing units. You can go for hand cannons in Castle Age, having the chemistry so you can instantly produce bombard cannons when you reach Imp, obviously strong air blasts, strong skirmishes. This unit, this civilization is just nuts, and even despite the nerfs, I still see them as S tier for sure. Britons is another S tier civilization for me, and nothing changed with Britons. They simply have amazing eco. They have the cheaper TCs, which is big bonus, and having the archers is really huge. Their Arbalest opening should simply give them the map control versus kind of anything. Then they can switch into light caps, obviously. They can switch into skirmishes. They have longbows, they have warwolf traps, they have halps. The civilization is just extremely strong, and yeah, it doesn't really have too many counters. I would say there are no real counters to Britons, and yeah, this is why I see them definitely as S tier here. Bulgarians. Last time I put them as D tier, but this time I'm changing them to S tier. I realized that they have some options like heavy CA. So playing heavy CA Hussar, definitely a legit choice if you have Bulgarians. And also it can be a surprising choice. You can obviously play your two-handed with the very sick mill armor. You can obviously play Halps. You can play Cavaliers. You can play their Konings. You have very good siege. So this civilization is more struggling with the eco bonuses because they only have one eco bonus, which is that you can basically place more TCs because they only cost 50 stone. But it's just a really slow civilization. If you get to your late game, if you get your eco, you have the options. That's not an issue. But before that, yeah, it's not the sickest civilization, I would say, and because of how slow they are, I'm only putting them to C tier. Then we have their Burgundians, S tier civilization still, obviously one of the best ecos in the game, amazing for light cave play, and in Imp, Paladins, Custelier, HC, Bombard Cannons, Halps, and then to finish it off, Flemish Revolution. I think if you play Burgundians well, you don't have there any really bad matchup. And Burgundians for me easily an S tier civilization there. Then we have their Burmese. I'm putting them to B tier. Versus some civilizations, they can be very strong in Imp as well. They have their some matchups, like for example versus Celts or versus Goths. That's another one. So you can have their really good matchups in Imp as well. But most of the time, Burmese are not as strong in Imp. But unlike other civilizations with Burmese, you can just easily go for 1 TC play. Obviously, Arambais, not the best unit in the game, but their monks are amazing. Their monk rush is really good. They have decent eco to support monk rush. So never underestimate the Burmese 1 TC all in. And even in Imp, you can still go for, let's say, Hussars. The biggest issue is that they still don't have a good unit versus Arbalest Halp composition. Because if you are going for Hussars, then you are struggling versus Halps. And yeah, you don't have good skirmishers. So basically everything but Hussars dies to Arbalest. So this is the issue with Burmese, and versus many civilizations, therefore it's the best to go for 1 TC all in, but it's still a legit choice. Either way, saying Burmese are the B tier for me. Byzantines, that's straight up to, I think, A minus tier actually. Let me just check with my idea. Okay, yeah, putting them to A minus. You don't have their that strong of units. Obviously have their Halps and you have their skirmishes, and you have their cheaper Imp, you have their Arbalest. Cataphracts are very strong units but very situational, and yeah, I think especially versus like good bombard cannon saves, you don't really have too many options because you don't have really good cavalry, and you have only skirmishes, Halps, PBCs, it feels like, also Rams. Not saying that Byzantines are any bad, they still can YOLO, apologies, they can still YOLO with the monks, because of their cheaper imp, it's also a legit choice, but I don't see Byzantines higher than A- tier right now. Alright, it's 20 minutes video and we still are with like 10 civilizations right now. So let's go there for Celts now. I see Celts as, I think, B tier again, right? Yeah, B tier again, because Celts are not as strong until late game. If you can get their boom rolling, obviously that's great. If you can mass their votes, that's also great. But before that situation, Celts not as strong, and they can be struggling versus Moon Crash. They can be very likely struggling to early imp pushes, and yeah, you just need to get to late game with Celts. Basically, there's no other way how to put it. And for that, I see Celts only as B tier. Even in late game, they might not have some of the best matchups, but it's a strong civilization, and especially in some matchups, they can be obviously amazing. Chinese, D tier, no doubt. You don't have really good answer for help on nature with Chinese. You have decent eco, but not anything crazy really when it comes to arena. And yeah, D tier it is. You simply helps, and on natures are very good counter to Chinese, and they don't have good monks, they don't have good bombard cannons, they don't have good siege themselves, which means that they are only D tier for me. Humans, civilization that I'm putting into A- tier, I believe. Let me just double check. Here we go. Yeah, it's A- for me, and the reason is that you can play for their 2TC play, which is legit. You can also go for trash with them. I don't think that you have the best options, although if you get to Kipchak's Hussars late game, it's a very strong composition as well. You are still struggling in many matchups, I would say, with humans, especially once again versus Alp SOs. You don't really have the good counter, but simply because of their variability, you don't really know what to expect from humans, and I can see them as A tier for me for sure. Is A- though. I think the aggressives are like simply stronger than humans there, but it's still a legit civilization when it comes to arena. This is Trapedians, explained, D tier, no doubt, worst civilization in the game right now. Then we have their Ethiopians, which is A+ for me. I really like Ethiopia. You have very good eco bonus, plus 100 gold every age, means that you don't need to have a mining camp, and you can just go for, let's say, 22 plus 2 free TC boom with their R+ and bombard cannons. This is very legit choice, but also going for map control with their pikemen, also legit. And yeah, once again, R+ bombard cannon, something that you want to play in imp. You don't have too many good options other than R+ bombard cannon. You have the helps, you have shuttles, but most of the time R+ bombard cannon should be enough for Ethiopians, and with their bonuses, it's really strong civilization. Franks is A- tier. You have a very good opening with light kevs. You don't have too many options afterwards. Basically, it's paladin or halps somewhat, or hand cannons, and obviously most of the time you want to mix in axemen. So in some matchups, Franks are very strong. I would say it's a great countersive to, let's say, something like Goths, but at the same time, versus especially like good halp, R+ civ, Franks don't have too many great options. Their skirmishes are complete trash. So I see Franks like very strong civilization in Castle Age, very strong in the early imp, because they have bombard cannons, hand cannons, cheaper castles, can put pressure on opponent, they have good eco. But after that, you basically have one option, and that is paladins, or you can play like halps, you can play like axemen and light kevs, which is okay-ish composition. Might work in some matchups, but it's not the best in the game. So still, for me, Franks A tier. And yeah, that's it. Then we have their Goths, which is, I would like to put them into D tier, but the thing is that Goths have some really good matchups for them. The issue is with Goths is that they have basically one line how to play, and that is infantry. And with Goths, you either die versus some better civilization, let's say versus Celts, versus Burmese, you are basically dead, you cannot do anything. It's just horrible counter, and you are dead in minute 1 in this matchup. Or you have some matchups where Goths are, on the other hand, extremely dominating, let's say they're versus Chinese, I would say versus Berbers and such. So those are, on the other hand, matchups where Goths should never lose, kind of. And this is the reason why I'm putting them in C tier. But I really hate the civilization. It's just extremely one-dimensional and very boring to play. I hate Goths, but I cannot put them into D tier. I would love to. Then we have the Gurcharas. And as I said, the civilization I see very good, as very high, and I'm putting them into A tier. And actually, it would be very high in A tier. I will kind of remake this after to make them in my order or in every tier. And I'm saying Gurcharas are very good civilization, and I was even thinking about putting them S tier. In the end, I decided they are only A tier, but I gave you the explanation. Gurcharas definitely A+ civilization for me. Hindustanis, and that might be a big surprise, but I'm putting them into S tier. I saw Indians as like high B tier, low A tier before. Now with the changes, with those really strong hand cannons, with the really good hussars as a support, amazing eco, their unique unit, obviously bombard cannons with siege engineers, Indians are simply S tier civilization for me. We will see more about the civilization, but I think I simply think that they are amazing. I think that they are extremely good right now, and we should see more of Indians on arena. And yeah, I'm confident that the civilization will prove that they definitely belong into S tier. Then we have their Huns, D tier. I love Huns, I love them on arena, but simply, once again, the same story as Chinese, half on HRS, and Huns are dead, basically. So yeah, you have the mobility, they are fun to play, but you don't have good options with Huns. It's a straight D tier. Incas. Incas are for me C tier, I think. Sorry, Bazi, but you don't have great options with Incas. Yes, you have Kamauks, which is a good unit, but once again, if you are facing like onagers, you don't have any fast unit really to deal with it. You have your Eagles, but then opponent can just go for, let's say, something like hand cannons, so hand cannons onagers, quite a good counter to Incas. And yeah, Incas, you have monks. That's kind of your only counter to opponent going something like SOs or onagers, but still, I don't think that Incas are too strong. You kind of have some YOLO potential with like Thrashing or 1TC Rush with Eagles, monks, but I cannot justify Incas any higher than C tier, really. Then we have their Italians, civilization, which is A- tier for me. I think it's quite high in A-, but yeah, I couldn't simply put them in A+. You have some very good matchups with Italians, you have quite a fast civilization, but your unit composition not that strong and can be really struggling versus some other matchups. Let's say there versus Britons versus Ethiopians. If you check the civilizations above, then Italians should be struggling a lot, and this is the reason why I only see them as A- tier. Japanese, C tier. I would say very same story as Incas, very same playstyle. You can YOLO 1TC, you don't have the greatest options in Imp. Once again, basically no cavalry, and yeah, that means that, or like, okay, they do have light cavs, don't get me wrong, they do have light cavs, but it's not the best. And yeah, you will again be struggling versus onagers, very likely, versus good arbalest civs. I would say those are two very similar civilizations for me, and I'm putting both in C tier there. Khmer, on the other hand, A+. Did I put them in A+? I did put them in A+. Alright, so first of all, before that, I see Khmer as B tier, but now with the Ballista Elephant change, I think Ballista Elephants were already very good, and now they will be broken. So now you also have the go-to unit. Before, with Khmer, you kind of played Hussars, Arbalest, and then what? You know, likely C-trams, you kind of had the map control, but you didn't have the best composition. Opponent might push you back, and you might be struggling with Khmer. Now, you simply have the go-to unit, which is Ballista Elephants most of the time. And the unit is incredibly strong. So just farm Ballista Elephants, Hussars, okay, you need 80 farms for that. But with Khmer, you have the best eco in the game, I would still say. And yeah, obviously amazing light cav play. You should get the map control no matter what with Khmer. And yeah, if you get your Ballista Elephants, Hussars, then good luck to your opponent. So Khmer for me, definitely A+ right now. Sorry, not Khmer. Koreans is civilization that I'm putting into B tier, I believe. Do I put them B tier or C tier? No, I think I'm putting them into C tier. No, okay, B tier. Yeah, B tier makes a bit more sense. Obviously strong towers, very good transition into skirmishes because you have the upgrades for free, and then playing war wagons helps, SOs. Not a fast civilization, not my favorite civilization to play with, but very good YOLO potential and also very strong late game. You don't have the best eco, but I think your units are kind of adding up for that, and I see Koreans kind of in the middle of the pack and putting them into B tier here. Lithuanians, that's another B tier civilization for me. Issue with Lithuanians is that you have good monk rush, very good monk rush actually, one of the best ones in the game. But if you are not going for monk rush, you don't have their great civilization. Yes, you are struggling with, you are starting with 150 extra food, but at the same time, it's not the best eco bonus in the game, definitely not. And you need to get the relics, then you kind of want to play. Issue is that Lithuanians are predictable civilization. Maybe I can still put them in A minus though. In the preview I put them in B tier, but you have your Hussars, obviously winged Hussars are very strong units. You kind of have HC, which are legit, skirmishes helps, bombard cannons. I feel like you are not the strongest civilization in early imp / late castle age, and you don't have the best composition in the late game either. But I would say with the monk rush, I'm putting them into very low A tier actually. Yeah, I changed my mind. They will be A tier, A minus tier for me. But as I said, you basically start with 150 extra food, and that is your only eco bonus. And it is good until minute 15, but it's not good in minute 25, and nothing in minute 45. So yeah, that's about Lithuanians, putting them in A minus there. Final decision. Magyars, C tier. No, actually B tier for me. You have very good light cave opening, and obviously if you get to your composition, which is Hussars or even Magyar Hussars and CAs, you shouldn't be really struggling almost against anything other than something like Celts. But getting to this composition, very difficult, and as you don't have really any eco bonus with Magyars, then getting to your units and getting to your imp composition is very difficult. So this is the biggest issue with Magyars right now. Other than that, if they get to their post imp, then they are obviously amazing civilization and one of the best in the game. But getting there is tricky, and this is the reason why they are only B tier for me. Malay, last time I put them in S tier, but now I feel like they dropped slightly. And I would say Hindustanis took their spot, and now they are only for me very high in A+. So Malay now on the A+ civilization. Obviously still very strong civilization, very fast. You don't have the best units in the late game though. So this is the issue with Malay, but early aim, one of the best civilizations in the game. Obviously amazing versus monk rush. And still legit civilization, even in late game when you can play your two-handed, which just don't cost food or don't cost gold. It's also a very strong unit. If you are facing basically full trash, then you are winning the game right away. But I can only see Malay as A+ right now. I cannot see them on the same level as the S tier civilizations. Malians, C tier, nothing changed there. You have good monk rush, but you don't have good units after all. So this is why you should be going for monk rush, because if you are going for boom, light caves, Geppettos, and that's kind of it. Champs without blast furnace, yes, they have the really good pierce armor, but that's not really enough. I don't see Champs as a too legit unit on arena, so Malians only C tier for me. Maya is actually B tier for me. Difficult civilization to play, but you can play them in very yellowish play. Amazing trash into fast imp. Obviously you can play eagles or you can play plumes there. Both options are very legit. So if you are going for like free TC boom with Maya, I think you will struggle most of the time versus most civilizations. But it's very situational. Always you have to think, okay, if opponent has champs, SOs, I'm likely in a big trouble with Maya. If opponent doesn't have those, then I can likely play it in late game. And even if you cannot play it in late game, if you think that opponent's civilization is too strong, let's say that you are facing Celts, then I would say go for trash, go for yellow, and you can definitely win it this way. So this is how I see Maya, and I'm putting them into B tier. Mongols, C tier civilization for me. Any other civilization that I upgraded from D tier, they are simply better than the D tier civilizations, but they are incredibly slow civilization as well. And I cannot put Mongols higher than C tier, I think. Obviously, if you get Manchurized Hussars, you basically win the game. Kind of similar story as Magyars, but I would say Magyars are better in some other parts of the game. With Mongols, good luck getting to your composition. If you get there, you win the game. If you will play versus experienced player who has something like Arbalest Bombard Cannons, you will very likely die in early imp. So this is why I put Mongols in C tier. Persians is a civilization that I also put in. Now I'm not sure. I think it's high C tier or low B tier. I kind of want to put them in B tier. Yeah, and I did. Okay. I'm happy about it. I really like Persians. I love the trash bows, and it's one of the best saves in the late game. Issue with Persians is how you get there, you know. But now with the better HC, I think you mostly want to play like skirmishes into HC into Hussar opening, and then simply delay the game until you can afford full trash bows and opponent will be out of gold, and with trash bows Hussars you will win the game. So I guess that's a strategy. But yeah, I still see Persians as the B tier here. Then we have their Poles. That's straight up C tier civilization. Amazing trash. Obviously very strong cavaliers. Yeah. Poles simply have to be S tier civilization no matter what. Too many great options, amazing ego, one of the best egos in the game, and their full cavaliers is just extremely strong, but they're costing 30 gold. That's just broken. The civilization is just way too good right now. And definitely S tier for me. Then we have their Portuguese, that's straight up to A+. Once again, civilization with many options. Trash into fast time into Fetorias, in chaos, full Fetorias, also legit choice. Going for Monk Trash, definitely legit. Organ guns versus civilizations that don't have redemption, another super legit option. So I see Portuguese as A+ for sure there. Then we have their, I'm checking this one all the time. Then we have their Saracens. That's an B tier. I'm very sure about Saracens being B tier. Yeah. Good Monk Trash. Decent units in imp, but not the best eco, I would say. And your units still are blessed, Mamelukes, Hussars, Essos. It's a decent civilization, but not really like go-to units. You are struggling really to have the go-to unit that will win you the game. With Saracens, you kind of have many good options, but nothing too strong, and at the same time, not the best eco. Once again, you have the variability with Saracens, so I'm seeing them as the B tier. Then Sicilians, that's straight up to A+, I think. Reasoning for Sicilians, obviously amazing cavaliers, amazing sergeants. Not having bombard cannons sucks on arena, but Sicilians do have good eco, and with cavaliers, with sergeants, I can easily see them as A+ here. Slavs is a different story though. Slav are straight up to C. Yes, you have good eco, but you don't have the units really. SOs are good, Halps, Champs are good, Boyars are good, but like those all cost extremely much or so much eco, and most of the time you don't have the time on arena to actually get to this composition. So I would say Slavs C tier. They still have very good counters against them, and yeah, couldn't put them higher than C tier. Basically, that's it. Spanish is will join them on the C tier. Spanish obviously having very good yellow potential, but at the same time you don't have their that strong units with Spanish, and I'm putting them into C tier for sure. I would say skirmishes, Hussars, Halps, siege rams, bombard cannons, legit options, but simply you don't have, once again, civilization when you don't have the go-to unit and you don't have the strong eco to actually get there. So I think C tier it is for me for sure. Tatars, another civilization which has C only as C tier. I cannot justify them any higher. Not a great eco bonus, although it's decent one. Not great units. If you get to your Hussars CA's composition, it's a legit one. Once again, tough to get there. Similar story as like Magyars, for example, but I see Magyars better in many parts of the game, so I see Tatars only as C tier. And now this will be very easy. Obviously Teutons have to be A+. Nothing changed with the civilization, so no need to explain this any further. Amazing infantry, cavalry, siege, slow civilization at the same time, so you can be struggling in some matchups, but one of the best defensive civilizations in the game, and A+ it is. Then we have their Turks, that straight up to C tier, sorry, not C tier, S tier, my bad, and actually it will be in the top of the S tier. Decent eco, but mainly have the best units in the game. Janissaries alone will likely beat most of the civilizations in there, and if not, then you have their Hussars, you have their mobile cannons, you have their elite Janissary in imp. This civilization is just way too good. Number one civilization in the game right now for me. Then we have their Vietnamese, that's A-. I think Viper is not right about putting them into S tier, but yeah, I still see his reasoning. Civilization has very good eco bonus, very good options late game, skirmishes and Rattan archers, very good options, light caps with it, bombard cannons, so A- it is for sure. And then we have their last civilization, which will be Vikings, and it's straight up to C tier. That's another civilization with very good eco bonus, but they don't have the units really. You have basically champs, you have Zergs, you have Arbalists without tampering now, and you have their siege rams, so that's it. Basically badly countered by onagers are Vikings, and that's the biggest issue. Yeah, so those are the civilizations. Let me just move them in the correct order. I think, okay, yeah, we have there Turks as the number one, makes a lot of sense. Britons number two. I see there now Burgundians, Bohemians, I think Poles this way. Even Poles before Bohemians, yeah, that makes more sense this way. Then A+ was it's Gurcharas, Malay, Portuguese. So we have there Gurjaras, Malay, Portuguese, Aztecs, Ethiopians, Sicilians, so right, Ethiopian Sicilians. I can actually put them, no, I actually changed something, right? So I need to go this way. Yeah, I think Khmer, Teutons makes a lot of sense. Vietnamese, Byzantines, Cumans. Vietnamese definitely very high in A tier, makes a lot of sense. Byzantines, Cumans, Franks, Italians, Bengalis. Yeah, I think that I would still agree with that. Franks, Italians, Bengalis, Lithuanians. I think I would put even Lithuanians over Bengalis. Then we have DRB, Burmese. Yeah, okay. There I have, okay, Saracens, Burmese, Celts, Koreans, Saracens, Burmese. This way, Celts, Koreans. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think I would stick with it like this. Actually, Maya before Magyars makes a lot of sense. And C and D tier. D tier actually stays like this. I think that makes a lot of sense as well. And C tier, Berbers very high. That makes sense. I said they have their options. And then you have their Bulgarians, Goths, Incas, Japanese. Bulgarians, Goths, Incas, Japanese. Yeah, I still kind of agree with this. As I said, Goths, you have there many good matchups, or not many, but let's say 10 very good matchups for them. This is the reason why I cannot put them lower than this. Malians, Mongols, Slavs. Yeah, Malians, let's put them like this. Malians, Mongols, Slavs. I think Spanish are not that low. Oh, I guess that makes sense. Vikings, that, yeah. So this is my actually, yeah, this is my lineup, and I think it makes sense this way. So again, let me just check this one. Spanish. Yeah, I'm actually happy with how I put them here. So yeah, give me your thoughts in the comments. Give me your thoughts on the new civilizations. And obviously this is new DLC. I'm very excited. I didn't play, I mean, I played every civilization already a couple of times, but I didn't play every matchup with every civilization. So we'll still see how some units will perform for me. But so far, right now, in the start of May, I see the civilizations this way. And give me your thoughts, and if you see the civilizations any different than me. So guys, that's it. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed this one. See you.